Do you have that friend that always has to sit facing the door wherever they are? I have. I've got one of those friends. Any pub, cafe, restaurant, anything we're in, he always has to sit facing the door. He needs to know what his exit route is before he's ever comfortable enough with what's going on. And yet when he comes to his business and his day job, he hasn't got a clue what's going on, and he hasn't got any sort of track of what's actually happening. That's the point of today's video. Today's video is why bookkeeping is essential for your small business. Now, bookkeeping is not one of those sexy, exciting subjects. People want to hear about 97 tax savings, or how to get the best rate on the finance that you're getting, or all that sort of sexy stuff that finance and accountancy is supposed to bring. Whereas bookkeeping is dreary, mundane as far as people are, and yet it's the story of what's going on in your business. And today's video is capturing some of those simple things that makes it so much easier if you actually keep a track of things. Because bookkeeping is not just for HMRC, it's not just for your accountant, it's for you to know what is happening, to know what's going on. That's the point of it. That's what you're trying to do, to capture and clarify what it is that is going on in your business at any one time. Now, people say to me, Rob, what's the best bookkeeping system? Well, the best bookkeeping system is one that you actually use. Yes, there are some legal rules around this. Yes, if you're a sole trader, you're now into MTD, making tax digital, and 4 quarterly returns plus another summary. And I've put some other videos up about that before now. But the best bookkeeping system still maintains to be, if a shoebox is something that you actually use and know what's in it and know what's there, it's better to use the shoebox than nothing. If you have lever arch folders or an Excel spreadsheet or software or whatever it is that you actually will sit down and use. Now, I know people that still write things up in cash books. They still have 12-column cash books, they still write them up, red cathedral books, they're still writing those things. They then pass them across to me to then submit and make them into a digital record. Great, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that in terms of it's capturing and clarifying what you need to run your business. And that is the fundamental message of this. Not the legal compliance for HMRC, although that is very important. It's making use of whatever information it is that you have to get the best result for you, because it's telling you that story. Always, always when you're bookkeeping, make sure that it ties up to your bank. Have a separate bank account. Don't mix the two. Never mix the two things of having a business bank account and a personal bank account. There's all sorts of reasons for that. Some of that's HMRC. They then have the right to see everything that's going on. Some of it is to do with your accountant. It's a lot more expensive. It's a lot more of an aggravation if I have to sit and go through every single transaction and work out what this Tesco bill was for, as opposed to just having a bank account that has only your business information in it. It's also for you, because in terms of what you need to capture and record, if you have a bank account that is used just for your business, it's minimizing the volume of those transactions that you've got. Try and pay everything on a debit card or a credit card, but debit cards for small businesses are often the better thing to have. A bank account linked to a debit card, everything goes on that debit card. You know where everything is, you can see it. Legally, if a transaction is less than £30, you don't actually need a receipt for it. You can just do it off the debit card transaction history itself. If it's over £30, you are supposed to keep a receipt, albeit that receipt nowadays can be a digital copy, it can be a scan, it can be a PDF, it can be an email. There are some changes coming to that in due course, and we will cover those in some other videos at a later time. But if you have that bank account, make sure what you're capturing and recording agrees to that bank. If your bank says that you've got £2.75 in it and your business records say that you've got 10 million quid, something's seriously gone wrong. And you're going to be making decisions on something that's not real. Don't just run it out of the bank account though. Do actually capture and record it. Do actually take that information that's in the bank and put it somewhere. Write it down in an Excel spreadsheet, in a accounting piece of software. There's some great ones, as we've talked of before. There's some free versions if you use certain types of banks. There's some lightly paid for ones if you are early stages of business, and there's the full-on systems if you are wanting something a bit more in depth. It's called a bank reconciliation, checking what's in the bank against what you've actually stuck in your records. Make sure that you actually keep a note of all of those things and categorize information. It's much better for you to have all of it recorded in your bookkeeping system and let the accountant then go, well, actually, you can't claim this, rather than trying to have them tick off everything and make sure that it's actually there in the first place. It's one of the key bits of any financial records. You always want to make sure that as receipts and as things arrive, you do something with them. Now, a lot of stuff comes on emails nowadays, and I immediately save those into a separate folder. They then are automatically processed by some of the software that we have. We use auto entry by Sage, and I'm very happy with that, but other systems are available. And you can then capture those in electronic format. If you leave it as a big pile of something to do on a Sunday afternoon, it turns into, oh, I don't want to do this. There's a million other things to do. I'd rather watch two spiders walk up the wall than sort out my own expenses. So capturing them as you go along makes it so much easier. Then make sure you do something with it. Keep them safe. Keep them actually there for the long term, because you're supposed to keep business records for at least 6 years onto it. Once you've done that, once you've captured it and you've got them, make sure that you actually look at it regularly. One of the key things that so many small businesses, little businesses get wrong is money owed to them. If you use a piece of accounting software to issue invoices, and from 2029 you're going to have to, you've got no choice, make sure that you then look at that on a regular basis to see who owes you money. And a gentle nod, a gentle prompt to them, an email, if necessary a telephone call, maybe even into old-fashioned hardcore letters, will speed up that cash flow process, meaning you get paid. If you can get paid, you can pay for what you need to do, you can then pay your bills, you can have a decent life and a decent business yourself. Once you've got all of those things in place, make sure that it's done on that regular basis and talk to your accountant. If you're a sole trader, you're going to have to be doing this 4 times a year now. That 4 times a year bit is a great time to have a conversation. How does it look? What's actually there? You can then start making some decisions. The decisions can be, I need a new piece of equipment, I need a new thing, I've got to spend some more money on something else, or I want to go away on holiday, I want to do something different. All of that comes out of the bookkeeping that you have. The information that you're recording on a day-to-day basis allows you to make those decisions. It lets you see what it is that you've got and what's going on. The other classic avoidance or mistake that people do is mixing in those things that are personal, as I say. By looking at it on a regular basis, it's much easier to identify something that's just happened that shouldn't be included in business than if it's 18 months down the line and you're desperately scratching around for a tax return in January. So the final message I would say to you on any of these things is consistency and a rhythm and routine beats perfection. It's much better to be consistent and do this regularly, weekly, than it is to have a big pile of paper, a big pile of emails, a big mess that you're trying to sort out on a less consistent basis. It becomes much more overwhelming on that. If it's done regular, weekly, and daily, if necessary, to do with receipts, it's so much easier to have. And it is no different than my mate sitting watching the door, knowing his exit route from wherever it is he is. If you're doing this like that, you'll always stay in control, always be on top of what it is, and be able to make what decisions you need to do for your business. It's not just about HMRC, it's about your life. My name's Rob Newman. Thank you so much for listening to this. If you think this has been of use, there's loads of other videos you can watch on here. We're building up a regular library of them. I also have published 14 books. If you head to robert-newman.co.uk, you can get those there. They're all on Amazon. And yes, I am a partner in Carter, Collins & Meyer, a firm of accountants working with small businesses across Greater Manchester, Cheshire and Lancashire.